decided the time had come to overcome my lifelong hot dogs and dinner.
Right now, yeah!
Okay. Go figure that one out.
Serenity now!
Do not fully understand.
Jerk in the ween, giving me a knobber.
I've had enough problems without that one. I hated what liquor had done to Roger Clemens.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Night Talk Live. My name is Midnight Mike, and I'm joined on this special late night edition by James Cruz of the Cruising with Steak podcast. He's over there.
But we don't know.
You don't know if he's there. No, I can see him. He's there. And we also got Clown Baby is back on the show in a very big way.
Oh, yes.
Clown Baby is give us a little clown action.
How about a little clown action?
And it only makes common sense.
There we go. Does literally everyone have a soundboard?
It's total, yeah. We just do the show and sound clips.
Okay.
I'll just talk through Bill Clinton.
Yeah, we'll just none of us will talk. We'll just do soundboards.
Yes.
Tonight on the show, got some stories about the portals here in Arizona. Maybe touch on a little Mothman stuff. Got an account of a teenager in Illinois encountering a Mothman, and possibly take some phone calls here. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, James? Who knows?
Well, it's all happening. We know that for sure.
That is for sure. That is absolutely for sure. Wow. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I know it's a bit late for you guys. Probably almost it's dang near midnight out your way.
11:34.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's 11:34 here too.
Whoa.
Amazing.
That is absolutely astounding.
We exist in two different realms of the universe at the same time.
Time and space means nothing to you guys.
That's right.
I got some stuff. I'm probably going to talk about portals, James. I'm talking about dimensional portals here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those.
Yeah, I was reading that article, and it's pretty cool, man. It sounded like that. I mean, I'm sure you'll go into it here, but it took place a long time ago.
Yeah, it took place about in the the story starts off in like the 1950s. I'll just kind of talk about it. I read the article. I'll try to convey it as best as possible. The link to the story that I'm going to talk about is in the description, and it's titled "Doorway to the Gods: Mysterious Interdimensional Portal That Can Alter Time is Hidden in the Arizona Mountains." And this story kind of recounts the tale of primarily two treasure hunters in the 1950s. And they are looking for treasure, old Spanish treasure, in the mountains, pretty close to some Native American reservations. And they are just on the quest, looking for that lost Spanish gold that maybe people are still looking for today.
And remember, the number one, if you find treasure, don't fucking tell anyone.
Yeah.
We've had this show over the years of people, I think I found treasure, and then like whatever government where you found it's going to try and take it, and then like whatever government that lost it back in the colonial era is going to try and take it, and some other afflicted group. It's just like everyone just wants to take your treasure, and then it's just like it's just a terrible idea. If you find treasure, never tell anyone. Melt it down and sell it.
Most certainly, the IRS is going to come knocking. There's a story, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago about this this person who found just a bundle of gold coins, and they were estimated over $5 million. And he posted about it online, And sure enough, they came calling and they confiscated them. They confiscated all the gold coins. And those are gold coins that were manufactured and created before, I think, the Federal Reserve was created. So, yeah, don't tell anybody. You're absolutely right, Clown Baby. Keep your trap shut.
Why would you even hand him over to the IRS? Like, oh yeah, I was out boating on Lake Erie, and that we got hit by another boat, and they fell to the bottom of Lake Erie. Why would you just hand him over? Like, what?
No, you lie. You say they're like that gold candy you can buy in dime stores. Dime stores, people. Dime stores. They had dime
It's
stores.
just like out of National Treasure, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, one guy's looking for it, but guess what? Here comes another guy hot on his trail, coming to swoop in.
Got to get that.
I watched that this morning.
I think it's on Netflix.
It is. That's right.
It's a great hoorah kind of movie, you know.
Was that
action packed?
Was that your hangover movie?
No, it wasn't hungover.
Oh.
I just I was like, I want to like kill time because I was going to make breakfast and then just wanted something put on that I wouldn't care if I finished or not.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the second one?
Of course, we all have.
I think
Okay.
so. Yes, is it Mount Rushmore? Or no, is it the first one?
I think it's the second. Yeah, that's the second one. I think where they go behind Rushmore or whatever. And yeah, or wait, is that the first one?
No, the first one takes place in D.C. It's all about D.C. following the Masonic symbolism in D.C. and they somehow they get the Constitution. They manage to get a version of the Constitution and they follow that.
So then the second one was when, I remember they were up on top and they poured water on a rock and then the Eagles landed, Yeah. And that shined a light into a special doorway.
It never fucking rained at Mount Rushmore while they were building it.
Never. Yeah. Be in the right place at the right time on the equinox or some shit. Yeah.
All right, let's get into this story. Let's get into dimensional portals. All right, this story takes place, like I said, in Arizona, and in and around the Tumacacori Mountains, which is just southwest of Tucson, Arizona, pretty close to the Mexican border. And there's two guys. I believe that they were brothers back in the 1950s, and they were treasure hunters. And they went to the Southwest out there looking to strike it rich. And they were going out for like months at a time. It was, I guess, back in the 50s, you could just take off a couple months at a time, and it's no big deal. So these guys were out treasure hunting for 2 or 3 months, which is incredible. But they were out there. And one of the
they were like 20 years old or something, 23. Yeah. Not much going on, Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy was 23. I think his friend or his brother Chuck was 26.
Yeah.
And they were out there in March of 1956. And they were camping in one of the first weeks that they were out there, very close to the mountain. And they were up late at night, and they saw a couple balls of blue-green light slowly descending behind the mountain several miles away. They flat out said these were not flares. There was no sound of aircraft that broke the silence of the night, and both of the balls of light vanished within minutes. And several days later, they said actually precisely the next night at the same time, the same lights appeared once again in the identical location, also disappeared behind those peaks. And several days later, a local cowboy ranch hand came by, and they kind of conversed and talked about what they had saw with the cowboy. And that kind of spilled out, there's been legends and stories going back years about paranormal and just kind of crazy activity surrounding the mountains out there. And then I would say a few weeks later, this guy and his brother, they were going down the road and trying to get a new spot to look for the treasure. And they saw somebody on the side of the road that needed some help. And they wound up fixing his tire. And a few days later, this guy found them at their camp. And his name was John. He was a Native American and knew the area pretty well. and they talked about the lights that they had saw a couple nights before that. And John just came out and said, well, there are some strange doorways or archways around here. And he told a story of seeing an archway that was made out of stone arch upon his hikes. And he actually talked to the local people about this and at the reservation. They said in the 1800s that a group of Native Americans came upon this archway, and a couple of the kids were playing around it. They were just kind of goofing around, running in and out of the archway, and until one of the kids ran through the archway and just disappeared. And that freaked everybody out, obviously. When someone goes through a door and they never come out, it tends to freak somebody out.
Yeah.
And so they ran back to the village, told everyone they could, and sure enough, I think the more people came out, the entire village came out. They started to test the doorway. They threw stones at it. They threw stones through it, and nothing disappeared until an older woman approached the archway and decided to put a rabbit through it, at which point that rabbit disappeared. So that freaked everyone out. Everyone at that point just put their hands up in the air and said, okay, we're done here.
Fuck this gateway.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
Serenity now!
Yeah, just put up a sign and tell people just not to go through it. So upon hearing the story, these two guys are pretty curious, obviously. I mean, they kind of made their way to that area. And at that point in time, this took place like a few weeks later. They were joined by two additional treasure hunters, and they actually found the archway. And they approached it. They kind of played around with it. They didn't really see anything that was paranormal at that point in time, and they really thought nothing of it. But they just found it to be a curiosity. That night, they camped on the other side of the canyon from the archway, and during the night they heard rumblings of hoofs, like a large, group of people riding horses or either wild horses, and they thought that they were going to be part of a stampede, so they took cover. The next morning, they realized they had nothing to worry about, because when they went to go investigate whether or not there were any horses in the area, they saw absolutely no trace, and they managed to track the sound back to the location of this archway. So they kind of got a little bit more curious. Time passed. This initial treasure hunting trip was over, and the author of the story decided to actually go back to this archway a few years later. So he decided to actually move to the Tucson area, and a few years later take the same trip down to check out the archway. And upon approaching this by himself, now I don't know if you read this part, James. I was kind of confused about his perception of what happened to himself. So correct me if I'm wrong, if I read this wrong. But
I mean, let's say I made it up to a certain point. I'll see if that's as far as I made it then.
So upon this guy actually approaching the archway, he got turned around. He started to he couldn't figure out where he was. It was almost like his land navigation skill was way off, and he was in close proximity to this archway, but he could not discern which way he was going. He thought he was going west, but really he was going east, and he came to the conclusion that he was actually transported further down the canyon hill than where he was supposed to be. And he chalked this up to the actually being a portal. Like the vicinity of the area had a power of manipulating time and space, not just the archway itself. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, like the other two treasure hunters they took on the trip with them, they actually went back later too. They went to the same archway again at a later date. They both looked through the portal and saw it almost shimmering. They both saw the same shimmering type of spectacle through the doorway, and that shimmering wasn't happening elsewhere in the environment, only looking through the doorway. And same with the the same thing happened to the guy John, who they helped out on the side of the road, who had a story about this archway. Is that when he and some people that maybe it was he or somebody he knew looked through the archway, they saw a vastly different sky than the ones that was around the archway. Almost like there it was.
That's what I read. Yeah, exactly. Like it was cloudy outside there, but when they looked through the archway, it was clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I read that, it's like that instantly reminds me of some of the stories that come out of Skinwalker Ranch, because
yeah, there you go. Right, yeah,
because there are stories from the ranch and at Skinwalker Ranch that convey the exact same thing. They see almost like a cutout in the environment, and when they look through this portal, it's a different sky than the one that is in the environment. Like they're looking into a different place. They're looking into a different area. And obviously, it just freaked everyone out. Obviously. And the guy just kind of, he chalks it up to absolutely something paranormal, but he had a little bit of a theory about it, at least a theory that he kind of subscribes to. And it goes back to the geodes, the rock, just the overall environment being put together in such a way that is conducive for interdimensional portals or just paranormal activity in general. Now,
well, how about I think it was in towards the beginning of that article where they were talking about what was it? A power company was talking about buying the land there.
Yeah.
And piping like electricity over there, and they're like, "Man, what would happen if they fire up this grid right along lines of this area?" You know,
just absolutely supercharge the grid.
Just supercharge, yeah. Like say if it's a bubble, maybe they're thinking they're looking in. No, I don't know. I guess that's what they're seeing as this gateway area, but it's like if it's an actual bubble, like a circular area, it just gets bigger. Bigger and bigger. The amount of space.
I'll read this theory real quick, then we can talk about it, because I'm sure Clown Baby might have a thought on this. But I'll read. I'm going to read verbatim what they're saying in the article about the theory here. And he says, before continuing, I'd like to set forth a theory told to us by a party well versed in the field of strange and the paranormal. Perhaps an enormous deposit of geodes beneath the surface might be affecting time in some mysterious manner. When all the natural elements, the vibrations of the crystals, the electricity in the atmosphere, and the magnetic fields in the earth come together at the precise moment, laws of nature are turned topsy-turvy, and things occur beyond our understanding. It could be like dropping a stone into a pool of calm water, the archway being the stone, and the waves expanding outward could be the natural forces. These might reach anywhere from several yards to a mile, depending upon the activation. Everything within the radiating circle could be thrown into a different period of time. When it fades, things return to normal. And this kind of thing, how people just quickly, or how an environment can quickly change and then fade back, reminds me of Missing 411, where people are there 1 second and then they're gone the next, and then their body appears in a location that was already searched.
That's pretty wild.
I think the portal thing is a completely valid theory at this point. I mean, David Paulides, who writes the Missing 411 stuff, he's got the criteria, the profile of people of who goes missing and where they're found. They're found by typically boulders, or people go missing by boulders, like dense, heavy stuff, and near bodies of waters where they're found as well too, which is dense mass. And so, if this theory here, when you have the magnetic fields of the earth perfectly aligning with certain types of rocks or crystals, along with electricity, able to open up a portal into a different dimension, and you don't know any better, and you just accidentally fall through it, well, you're shit out of luck. You're really shit out of luck. And if you are taken to another time or dimension, you're taken to a time where you don't know the environment. No one is around you. but you're stuck there. And there's stories that I've read on previous shows that maybe even Clown Baby or James, you were a part of, where people who have gone missing. So I read stories from the 1800s where people who have went missing, they just vanished in thin air. Their family goes out to search for them. They can't find them, but they can hear their family member as if they're in the area, but they have no physical body. Like they're almost like in some dimensional waiting room. Like they fell into something, a dimensional well, and they can't crawl out.
Trapped in the ether.
Yeah. Clown Baby, what say you, other than being a clown?
You know, it kind of reminds me of that one Skinwalker Ranch. I think it was, I don't even know what to make of it. I'm not sure if I gave it to you or not. It was about that one security guard. Some guy's allegedly ghost written for the security guard there. And he said that when these creatures came up to him and all this stuff he was seeing, but he said he remembers hitting the ground, and he woke up in some cave, essentially in an alternate plane of existence. And, long story short, he had to walk through all these ancient Indian ruins in the cave. But he came out of the cave and then eventually came out of this portal. I think like a week later, they found him on the property, like 4 miles away from where he was, like severely dehydrated.
I don't remember that. I don't know if that was in the Skinwalker Ranch book, but it sounds somewhat familiar. It's just like this is like this one example of some people trying to investigate something here in Arizona. There's a lot of other crazy kind of stuff going on in Arizona. I've yet to delve into, but all these. I mean, this is not just an Arizona thing. I think like if this portal is not, it's not unique to Arizona. Obviously, they're all over and national parks. And if David Paulides is correct in his assertion that they occur in cities as well, are they like the power? Like James, you mentioned the power company wanted to lay down electric lines. It's like, well, what would happen if you laid down our electric lines? Would you be able to control the portal, at least when it opens or how it opens, if you pump enough electricity at it? I think so.
It'd be like free energy for that surrounding area, or some weird side effect would happen. You might
just send an entire town through a portal.
Yeah,
but that's not unlike the Philadelphia experiment, where they tried to basically electroshock an entire battleship back in time. And then you had stories of people that claimed to know things about the Philadelphia experiment. And people said, oh, yeah, people were trapped half in and half out of a hall. People went mad. People went through different dimensions. And it's not unlike that.
Got to piss through that portal.
You got to. Well, yeah, I guess that's organic. That would go through.
Isn't it like the thing where like, oh, I piss on an electric fence, you like what? You're gonna get shocked right up through your cock, But
no.
If you piss through the portal, I wonder.
Does that actually work? Like, I want to go pee on an electric fence.
I could say I have never tried it, so.
I think if we find a portal, you gotta go pee. You have to. I mean, at this
That's
point,
what we need to do when we're out in Sedona. If we find a portal out there, we have to piss.
these are kind of like freaky, scary stories. You don't really want to walk through one. Then next thing you know, you're in the 1700s. It's not good. You can't. It's not something you can easily just wait out. You're kind of screwed at that point.
It's funny. We were having a conversation. Like, was it not Friday night? Thursday night. It's me, Graham, and our buddy Jerry. Like about time, and then so if time was, it's almost like they're like bubbles. So if these bubbles are connected, because you're only in control of your bubble, they're like you exist, time exists in your space. So these bubbles are connecting, like if soap bubbles, like how some are bigger, some are smaller, and these little dimensions that connect each other, and then sometimes they overlap, and actually you can burst into that bubble, secondary bubble. So it seems like what they were seeing, like the shimmering light, this like this view into another space, time and space. It's like these bubbles were intersecting at that point in time. Kind of seems like it.
Well, go back to like an element in the like I think in one of the later chapters of the Skinwalker Ranch book, they hire remote viewers to do the remote viewing session on the Skinwalker Ranch. And one of the remote viewers said he got the impression that there was a mesh, like a metal mesh netting just under the surface of the ranch. And he got the impression that below that there was a structure and that the mesh netting could be electrified.
Wow.
So if electricity is a key component here for manipulating portals, as positioned by the earlier theory, but in conjunction with the natural environment and certain rock deposits and all that. So if somebody did install a mesh netting down there, like the military, they could potentially manipulate the portals, or at least choose, if you pump enough juice at something, it might react or provoke a portal into occurring. Might not be able to control where the portal goes to, but might be able to control if one opens. And that certainly would explain some of the activity around Skinwalker Ranch when it comes to a direwolf, like an extinct direwolf coming through, interacting with some of the livestock and not really being affected, or just kind of seeming out of place, or some of this other strange creatures that we're seeing in and around Skinwalker Ranch, whether it is upright, like a traditional dog man type of creature, or the invisible predator kind of creatures. You open up a portal, God knows what you're going to get.
Daddy.
You might get Daddy coming through there.
Uh-huh.
Jon Snow's direwolf south of the wall.
Well,
maybe if I go to the portal, Game of Thrones will have a better ending.
Hopefully. Please take me through the portal where Game of Thrones is okay and that Last Jedi never occurred.
Okay.
I listened to that show last night, and I didn't know that you were talking about that Kit Harington being in like rehab and shit.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I did not know that. Yeah.
It has to be some kind of stunt. No one can be that much of just
booze and depression or something.
I guess.
Hey James, can you turn down your output a little bit? You're coming through.
Oh.
You're coming through a little hot.
Coming through hot. All right.
Thank you.
That better?
Yeah, I think so. Just a little bit. Just a little touch. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. As for Kit Harington, I give people a break on that stuff. If he wants to go to rehab, even if he just wants to go for a vacation,
that's fine. But I thought he went because he didn't like the ending or something.
I don't know. I mean, we were joking around about that, but I'm sure just being on that TV show was stressful enough. Probably drove him to drink.
I got a lot of money, did a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I don't know what he's making per episode, but
a lot, I'd imagine. Well, I'll look it up.
Probably at least $2 or $3 an episode. Two, maybe
chugging
four.
A lot of ale. That show for sure.
Does anybody know? I'll open up the phone lines right now. 614-388-9109. Like I haven't really heard anything new from David Paulides in a while. I got his newest book, and I don't know if he is starting to talk about theories at this point. And has he danced around the subject of dimensional portals? Because from my understanding, that at this point, when you have stories like the one I just told, and then you connect it to some of the weird activity at Skinwalker Ranch, there's definitely very similar vibe to some of this stuff. And a portal, or at least a dimensional shift, would explain that. I don't think it's just Bigfoot up and nabbing people. Not unless a Bigfoot wanders through a portal and nabs somebody.
I got the actual the money details real quick.
Yeah, let's hear how much he makes.
Okay, so Tyrion, Jaime, and Cersei Lannister, Daenerys, and Jon Snow all made $1 million per episode, and that's from 17 to 18.
Whoa!
Giving me a knobber.
I don't know what they made before that, but there were 6 seasons at 10, 73 episodes, so they must have made a fuck ton of money.
Wow.
That's a lot of cash, dude.
Hey, caller, you are on the air. Caller? So,
Turn your radio down.
turn your radio up. If you're going to call, turn your radio up so we can hear how amazing the show is or isn't.
Crank it.
Yeah, crank it up. So they made $1 million per episode, and they're pretty much making almost $8 million a year because they, give or take, mostly 8 episodes per season. I know they were doing 10, but that only lasted for like the last 2 seasons. So they made a pretty good payday. Nothing to sneeze at, clown baby. Nothing to sneeze at. Caller, you are on the air.
But we don't know.
What is the point of this?
This man claims he has been to the year 5000.
Talk to me.
He hung up.
Father?
Is that father? Is it?
Probably.
Save me, Daddy.
I don't know. Okay, they called up.
Attempt to communicate.
They're attempting to communicate. That's right, Bill Clinton.
Daddy.
Yeah. I don't. If Daddy was on the phone, Bill, he hung up. He didn't want to talk to us. Sorry.
Damn.
Yeah. All right, James, give me your best theories thus far. Dimensional portals, real, fake, fact, or fiction? Go.
They're real.
Okay.
I'd say they're real.
I'm on board.
Mm-mm.
In fact, I think that might be my go-to theory right now for Missing 411 at this point, is some sort of dimensional portal that definitely links together the actual person who is in the environment. The person is very critical here. Very critical.
You just jogged my memory. He's going to be at Crypticon again this year.
Oh, he is?
I'm going to be going to that. Yeah. So
what?
see if he's honking any new material. Yeah.
When is that and where is it?
It's going to be in Frankfort, Kentucky. And I think it's like September 7th through the 9th, I think it is. It's like that weekend-ish, right around there.
Well, I mean, now I live in Arizona. It's
I know.
not that I would have went anyways, but now I have a really good excuse for not going.
But yeah, so they changed locations this year, but it should be pretty cool, man. I think we got a good group of people going again this year, so should be a lot of fun.
I kind of regret not going last time, but I'm just so lazy
Hey, man.
sometimes.
Nah, dude, it was pretty. It was a pretty cool time, but this year we're gonna actually get a booth and stuff, so it'll be pretty crazy. We're thinking of like things to do at the booth, like have like a ramen station or something, just something something off the wall.
If I send you Pringles, will you give away Pringles for me?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
Put little advertisements for the show on there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you a bunch of stuff, and if you wouldn't mind giving away Pringles. With
dude, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Fantastic. Love it.
That would be awesome.
We can move on to something else. Not if you guys want to stick on the portal thing, but Clown Baby, you want to wind down with anything, or you want to move on? Huh?
But the portal now, we can move on.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Talk to me.
Just, I don't know, watching a show. Having a little fun.
Yeah, we're just chilling. Did you call a couple times and hang up on us?
Someone else did, yes, but not myself particularly. Yes.
Not yourself. What's your name?
Ian.
Hey, Ian. Nice to talk to you. So, do you believe in dimensional portals? Do you believe in the environment being able to create a portal that people can step through or things can come out of?
Particularly, there may be egregores, like, thought dimensions, or thought, things, but not, I don't know. You never know with these things.
I am, if you would have asked me 5 years ago about interdimensional portals spontaneously bursting open and people being able to step through them and never be seen again, I would have said, no way in hell. But at this point, I've read enough stories, and I think there's enough interesting, not directly concrete evidence or proof, but there's some anecdotal stuff. I'm on board with it, especially when you see like pictures of UFOs popping in and out of our reality. I think there's something to it. There's a naturally occurring phenomenon, and I think that that phenomenon can be harnessed, or at least technology could be wrapped around it and used.
I agree. I mean, these UFOs, I mean, are they necessarily, aircraft that's been from 1 billion miles per hour, come from another light years, gazillions, or could they be possibly interdimensional, type of beings? I mean, I don't know. These things are some other things. If you get into metaphysical or spiritual, I mean, just yeah.
I'm glad you brought up that point. I'm going to talk about that here in a second.
All right.
You got anything else for us, buddy?
No, just watching the show. Thank you for taking the call.
Hey, man, thank you for calling in and listening.
It's my first time, so thank you so much. Okay?
Call back in again, man.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Just through that portal.
I'm glad he brought that up on the show I did this morning. There was somebody in the chat saying, "Hey, this is a good show, but these guys are just a little behind. The OBDM podcast, they just don't know a lot. They're just not in the know. We don't know a lot of stuff because we were talking about. I don't know what we were talking about at that point. We're talking about UFOs, and I think he was insinuating in the chat that the UFOs that people see, that they're actually demons, and or they're not aliens from another star system. And there's not a lot of proof of that yet. I'm of the opinion that it's a mixture of things, that there could be UFOs that visit us from different star systems. There could be interdimensional or ultra-terrestrial beings, and or they could be demons. And that whatever the military does roll out, that it is going to be a managed experience. It's going to be like an alien false flag, an alien, a Project Bluebeam scenario. And I urge people, if you are new to the show, go back through the archives, take a listen to some of the older stuff we have. I definitely have addressed a lot of these things. And that's what's kind of interesting about it and kind of scary. Like if they aren't nuts and bolt aircraft and they're ultra terrestrials and or demons, that's terrifying, James. I'm scared. I'm peeing in my pants.
See, and it only makes common sense.
Yes.
It's just so many things that relate, like this day and age, to all these stories. With the amount of data we consume, and media, stuff like that, and how it all relates to one another. Like, I know we got another story here about creating the tulpa, and this guy was just kind of explaining that situation where it's like a thought form manifests, out of thin air, and maybe that's also, that's with the area with the portal or whatever, that's a pseudo sacred area, native area. Maybe there's just some weird energy there, and you feel a little different there, and then the mindset gets sunk in, and something happened to these Indian dudes a long time ago. Then the story gets passed on and on and on, and you're thinking you're going treasure hunting, and then next thing you know, you're looking in a different world.
That's right.
So the tulpa thing, I'll have to convey this because I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, but this kind of goes into everything. It goes into propaganda, it goes into what we're seeing, and it goes into the human consciousness and UFO experience, everything we experience. So the Tulpa research, and there's a link in the description, it was a group of researchers back in the 1970s tried to conjure up a person out of thin air. And I'm going to if you read that, please correct me if I'm wrong, James, because what they did is that they gave this fictional entity or fictional person a name. They gave him personality attributes. They gave him a very detailed history, a tragic story, and they tried to. And then they meditated on this person, and I think their goal was try to bring this person into existence. And there's I think 8 of them in this group, and nothing happened. They meditated. They tried to will this person into existence, and nothing happened. About a year later, the same group of people decided to do a seance, and they tried to contact this fictional person that they created the year previous. And during the seance, they asked questions, and the entity that was responding back with Knox was very accurate with his responses, and it was this fictional person that they created on paper. And as they asked the questions about this person's history that they made up, it knocked back with the proper response. And they tried this over and over again with different groups, and other groups had similar results. And there's a big thing online about tulpas and being able to create one for yourself to use one for your own benefit. But what I got out of the article is that the collective unconscious, or our consciousness and our ability to we can will something to almost respond to us. And so with us, the global public being inundated with media, it shapes what we are expecting. So if we're constantly being inundated with that alien, like the movies, like Independence Day, like bad aliens, that's constantly being brainwashed into us, I think that feeds into our subconscious, and that's what we are going to get out of this. I think that's that powerful, and the thoughts that we have can manifest under certain conditions.
Yeah, you get a whole city thinking crazy shit like that, and before you know it, there's a fleet of UFOs above your city. I think so. And Clown Baby and I are going to be going out to the desert, and we're going to go UFO watching next Friday. Oh,
it's less than a week away.
Dude, you making a trip out there? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going up to Sedona to do the night vision UFO sighting. So I'm going to talk to the person taking us out there. I'm going to ask her flat out, listen, don't bullshit me. I know a lot of things. You got to tell me.
And I'm going to fucking stab you.
With this laser pointer.
You better tell me. I'm curious to see, is she going to meditate to bring these things in, or does she just happen to see these lights in the sky at this point every night? Like, I gotta know. If she says, I think about it, I think, and I will them to come here, then that will kind of confirm what I'm saying right now, is that for me, I believe that the viewer, us, and our expectations will dictate what this UFO phenomenon will be.
You know, our buddy Graham from Grimerica, like he runs he runs it, but he's in a large group up there in Canada that does the sea setting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're up there and they'll do these like campouts and stuff and searching the skies. I don't know if he's ever got to try the night vision, but they'll project this tulpa, these good vibes, sending these vibes out to like, hey, come show yourself here. That's kind of how that stuff works. But it's kind of like the Stephen Greer. There's like a list of things that you do to summon a demon. I mean, a UFO. Yeah.
Dr. Stephen Greer takes groups of people out to look at UFOs. I mean, are you joking around? Do you think that they are demons, or
no? That's I guess. Well, if we're talking about a tulpa, it's all how your perception of it. I don't think they're demons. If I think it's gonna be a demon, then guess what's probably gonna pop up? Motherfucking demon.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, I don't know about a dragon type demon. But I don't know. Like if I'm thinking, say, if I was super hardcore religious and I saw one of these, it'd be pretty mind shattering. You probably would think it's a demon or something. I don't know.
Father.
Yeah, or father. Yes,
father.
It's my dad.
Yeah,
it's flying around up there.
Daddy.
So when Graham was it Graham that was up there?
Yeah.
When Graham, he was out there in the woods with a bunch of guys doing God knows what, and
Giving me a knobber. Jerking the ween.
Jerking the ween. Yeah.
Just a joke.
We don't know what those guys are doing out in the woods. They said they were playing with their tupas. Who knows?
Skin flutes.
I'm right there with you. That it's very important to remain positive about this stuff, and if you fear it, if there is a fear with it, I think that will overtake you, and that's what you're going to get out of it. And that's why everything that Hollywood puts out about alien invasions and all that kind of stuff, that's not the best frame of mind that you want to be in when you're considering the possibility that we are being visited by some intelligence. And I think it's a perfectly logical thing to think about, that being an alien false flag, a managed introduction to this new type of technology. I think that's what's going to happen at some point.
So much going on.
614-388-9109. We'll stick around for a little while longer. That whole Tulpa thing, or is it Tupla or Tulpa?
I say Tulpa.
Tulpa. It's Tulpa.
Pupil.
Yeah.
Tulpa.
There's a whole bunch of, I think there's a whole community based on that. There's instructions on how to do this. I read through it a little bit. I didn't dip my toes in that water too much. I try to learn a little bit about everything. I am by no means an expert on any of this stuff. So I try to just sample a little bit and try to weave it together. But there are some people out there with there's just a lot of hardcore knowledge about certain subjects. And this is where it's tough to be an expert in any one of these things.
Well, that's the beauty of a talk show. You can talk about it.
Oh, yeah. You can just make stuff up, too.
Instead of being some standalone expert in something, which is,
that's good, too.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it serves a purpose, too. Yeah.
I'm a generalist.
There you go.
I'm just know a little bit about everything, and that's all I need. I do just fine with that, I think. Maybe?
I've had enough problems without that one.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Bill. We do have that Mothman story. I don't know if I didn't even take a look at that.
Me neither. I didn't read that one.
Yeah, maybe I'll save that. I mean,
was it some kid, something Mothman? I don't know.
A kid had an encounter with Mothman.
Yeah.
Bombi, did you have something?
I sent one into Night Talk on Slacks about pooper in Australia.
Another poop story, Jeff?
I go for him all the time.
All right.
Pooper?
Poop.
Jeez. Crap.
Okay. We're gonna wind down the show with this one. What do you think? I think we should do
Hamburgers.
it. Yeah, hamburgers and a poop story.
Hot dogs.
Oh, that one. Oh, I was gonna say that one site that's. I was looking at that some of those stories on. I found that one about NASA running a simulation on what would get hit via asteroid simulation or whatever. It instead of like Denver area ends up being like smack dab in Central Park. It's blasted by an asteroid.
Really?
Yeah. I put it in Discord.
Yeah.
I'll read that.
Make it there, right? It'd be fine.
Simulated asteroid response saves Denver, destroys New York City.
Oh, that's nice. Fantastic.
Yeah.
New York City's kind of old. Kind of needs a
It really does
catching
need
that
to be
insurance policy. And if it broke apart multiple asteroids, it'd be multiple claims, right? That's how it worked at 9/11 for the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
They're just going to deny the claim as an act of God, and that's that. That's that. I'm trying to get the window up on the screen. And
Yeah, it goes small asteroid to impact over New York City Central Park in 10 days. Sounds so reads the fake press release for day 5 of the fictional impact event at this year's Planetary Defense Conference. Oh, Space Force. Asteroid experts from around the world gathered last week
Space Force.
try and save our planet from simulated celestial doom. They almost succeeded too, but actually managed to make things slightly worse for New York City.
Part of a larger pattern of errors.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So it has a day by day. It's like 10 days. It's like a 10-day countdown, and they have a description for like each day and what would happen. But
Do they have in the 10-day countdown people absolutely lose their shit and start?
Oh, you know what?
Going
That's
crazy.
a good question.
Is that in there? Because like if it's a 10-day countdown, they give people 10 days.
Well,
like, hey, in 10 days, shit's going down, and you could all die in New York. Do you think you could evacuate everyone in New York City in 10 days?
I'd hope so.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I don't know, man.
Help. You'd have to just get military to tell them to go. Like,
I thought you were going to say teleport them out of there with one of them fucking teleport.
Oh, you'd send him off to Skinwalker Ranch.
Tell the military to bomb the city before the asteroid can strike. No one kills our citizens but our own.
Yeah. If anyone's going to kill our people, it's us.
We're taking control of the situation.
Oh, man.
Well, does the article state? You know what?
It says, yeah, if you want to read, I don't know, but
take a look at it real quick. I'm going to play Clown Baby's clip here. I can't get it up on screen because my it's not working, people. I'm going to figure it out for next time. But this is the locals desperate to flush out serial pooper. Come on. Looks like there's a video that can play.
I thought too.
Here we go.
Pounding the pavement in Dulwich, the man pauses to scout the scene. It's what happens next that's left locals in disbelief.
We seem to have a mystery poor.
And it's not the first time he's caused a stink. For months, residents have noticed the unwelcome parcels piling up in Brunswick Lane and wondered who or what the culprit might be.
It started out about February and it's been going frequently since, every couple of weeks. Generally, there was a couple of weeks where it was Tuesday, Thursdays on schedule.
Perplexed and fed up of the street being used as a toilet, locals set a trap, installing security cameras to catch the perpetrator in the act. They were shocked by what they'd exposed, a man defecating on the footpath early in the morning.
Going through the footage, couldn't believe what we were actually watching. Just shocked that it was actually a human and what was going through their head, and this was actually happening.
Just as bizarre is the security video, which shows the same man visiting the scene just hours before being caught in the act. The incident bears striking similarities to cases in Brisbane and Sydney. Residents at a loss to explain why anyone would do it.
I'm still confused. I've got no words for it.
Is there a toilet
Despite
nearby?
the outrage, police say they're powerless to do anything unless an official complaint is made. But locals are hoping someone might recognise the man in the footage and flush him out. And until then, they say,
please keep your business at home.
That's what I
Ella
do.
Duffy, 9 News.
Wow. This guy is on the prowl and destroying sidewalks with his crap.
Yeah. Adelaide, Australia. So.
And that's probably like the most complete and in-depth news coverage I've heard. And they're doing it in Australia. Why don't we have this kind of in-depth investigative reporting happening here in the good old United States?
I mean, the Akron pooper happened. And that
that is a legendary story.
Yeah, man. It goes in the OBDM Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. The Akron pooper, for people who don't know, I think you can probably search through some of the archives.
It should still be up.
Yeah, I think so. If not, I will find we can find some people. It's just like, yeah, episode 400 had the start of the Akron pooper. It was chronicled. I mean, we covered that story for weeks. The guy was just making it happen out there, crapping on cars. Jeez.
Then there's something wrong with you. You're certainly not very good.
He's the one who crapped on everything. He was just fine. What were you asking, Clown Baby?
Yep, it is episode 421, the Akron Poop Bandit. It's on the website.
Oh,
May
good.
13th. May 13th, 2015. It's been 4 years.
Yes, 4 years. We missed the anniversary. Now, what do you guys say? You guys want to get the hey out of here?
Well, I was gonna give you a rundown real quick of what would happen.
Yeah, give me a rundown on if a meteor strikes and there's 10 days
so they
warning.
did the simulated meteor impact. So suffice to say that the simulation played out like a bad game of Dungeons and Dragons. Over the course of 5 days, the experts were given a daily updates about the fictional asteroid and its possible collision with Earth. Their goal to devise realistic plans to save our world from a deadly impact. This plays out like one of them goddamn movies from the 90s. Like, was it Deep Impact or whatever? Yeah. So here's a brief summary. Day 1, April 29th, 2019. A seemingly innocuous press release pops up, not unlike the kind you've probably skimmed over before yourself many times in the past about a distant asteroid that has a 1% chance of hitting Earth in the future. Then, say, April 29th, 2027, the asteroid is roughly 330 to 1,000 feet in size. So day 2, the July 29th, the probability of the impact increases to 10%.
Aye.
Yeah. Day 3, December 30th, things get bad. The asteroid is predicted to hit Denver, Colorado on April 29th, 2027 with 100% certainty. This prompts our experts to enact a plan. They begin working on a fleet of 6 kinetic impactor spacecraft that will be sent to the asteroid to hopefully hit it and change its trajectory. Yes. So day 4 of September 3rd, 2024, success mostly. While the kinetic impactor spacecraft made contact with the asteroid, they only managed to deflect its main body. A smaller fragment, though still large, remains on course to hit Earth at 165 to 260 feet in size. Its location of the impact is now thought to be somewhere in the eastern United States or Atlantic Ocean. Day 5, April 19th, 2027. It's now known with 100% certainty that the asteroid fragment will impact over Central Park in New York City on April 29th, 2027, leaving only 10 days to prepare and evacuate. This asteroid will explode. This asteroid explosion will release a 5 to 20 megatons of energy in that airburst, which is something like 1,000 times more powerful than the nuclear bomb in Hiroshima.
Yeah, 20 megatons.
This could be a problem.
Good.
Yeah. Wow.
It would just destroy New York City. You know, it'd be. I wouldn't tell them about it. Don't evacuate it. We're just going to start over.
Yeah, they like surprises anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, the New Yorkers always say they've seen everything. All right, fuckers.
Unreal. So that's pretty crazy.
Does it say in the article if they actually could evacuate the entire city and probably the surrounding area in 10 days?
Don't worry.
A little success, a little failure, a big explosion.
Oh my God!
Asteroid right outside of my house.
How could you have done this?
They coming to Earth.
Oh, they come to Earth.
That's yeah.
Talk to me.
That's a good point, man. Could they actually evacuate? God, I don't know the population. I mean, I'm sure it's.
I think I think New York City. Correct me if I'm wrong, Clown Baby, but New York, the island and the surrounding boroughs is right around 12 million people.
A lot.
Right around there, I think.
8.6 of New York City proper.
8.6. Okay.
So the whole metro has got to be at least 12, I would imagine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got to evacuate 1 million a day.
They could do that.
Fast, Father.
2? Maybe 4?
There's 2, maybe 4 people in all of New York City, but they might not be able to get out. Hey, just a real quick shout out and a thank you to Failed00. Failed in the super chat. He gave us
Failed
$5.50. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
This is special.
Thanks, Jock.
Yo, man. Thank you. All right, guys. Let's get the hey out of here. We're out of here. We put in our time. We did a whole hour of night talk.
This was not an event to miss.
I agree, Clown Baby. It wasn't. I like coming on doing these late night shows.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, late night for me being 9:30 p.m.
That's
so
right, you're 3
late
hours
here.
behind.
The sun just went down.
Yeah, literally the sun went down. Man, I am.
4:30. Oh man, I got at least 2 more hours of video games to play.
What are you gonna play?
At least. Yeah.
Oh no, probably some Total War on the computer. I got new RAM coming, so.
You got new RAM? You hook up your power supply yet?
I was actually gonna do that tomorrow because I have nothing to do. So.
Yeah.
Giving me a knobber.
I'm gonna give my computer a knobber.
Yeah.
I was dying when you played that clip. That guy was off the chain, dude.
Yeah. Peter Kane, Bigfoot guy, is amazing.
Jerking the ween.
She jumps on top of me, rips off my pants.
It's bullshit.
Well,
I got whacked.
Thank you, James, for coming to hang out, and thank you, Clown Baby, for coming to hang out late night. I'll see you in a few days, Clown Baby.
Yeah, I will see you Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, night vision. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be an event you're not gonna want to miss. That's
right.
This was not
I've
an
had enough
event to
problems
miss.
without that one.
There's too many Bill Clinton clips going on right now. This crazy.
$2.40 a pound.
Yeah.
Hamburger.
All right.
Daddy and hamburgers and everything. And who is Bill Clinton? Who is your father? Who's your daddy?
Bill Clinton's soundboard got closed.
Oh no.
I hated what liquor had done to Roger Clinton.
Okay.
It made him close soundboards early.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone in the YouTube. Thank you for coming to hang out. Big time. Really appreciate it. And we will talk to everyone next time. Woo. Adios.
Chavlagoo.
We really do have to get going.
God damn it!
Go figure that one out.